Do I do a greed mode run? I have not done greed mode on Isaac. I haven't done anything on these two. I'm avoiding them for now. Also, I don't have greedier mode. Bombs, useful in greed mode. Trinket is unnecessary. Actually, not necessarily. There can be drops in these rooms. Possibly. But then stuff like that is where I disagree. Isaac does die in a way. In terms of the story, he doesn't. He is alive, considering he literally talks to his dad at the end. But then, where the aspects come in, where, especially in the ending bit, and theming throughout the entire game, he sees his death as the only possible solution to the problems. Your point. Yeah. But then you brought it up in terms of death and purgatory, where I'm bringing it up in a different way of, it's the same overall point. I move my hands in like a weird globe motion. You can't see it, I don't have a face cam. It's really hard to pinpoint Isaac's age. I also keep pausing and looking at other stuff. I'll tell you I won fully afterwards. That would make sense. That does bring the whole roguelike aspect into it. Hello. I wish there was a spawn marker. That's one of the worst things about greed mode. Well, anything where things randomly spawn, but greed mode specifically, is how there's no spawn markers, they just appear, which means they can just appear on you. And because you don't know which wave's coming next, you don't know where specifically is safe and where isn't. There are obvious safe spaces, like near the middle, but even then, like, that wouldn't necessarily always be safe. Yeah, Flame Hopper, that works, actually. I was going to say Flame Hopper should die. Well, no, actually, Explodey One, you get to live. You get to kill everyone else for me. Or not, because you're bad. There we go. You did your job, die. I shall... Ow. I forget I have those little messages sometimes. People don't chat long enough. But then, there's never more than, like, one person. You think there would be, considering I have 91 followers. But, like, I think of it in terms of YouTube. People with a few million followers usually only get a few thousand to 100,000 views per video. Obviously, there's people who pick and choose. Some people have just followed but don't actually watch. Subscribed. Yeah, well, it doesn't even have to be pills. Split personalities through whatever the condition's actually been called, I don't remember, can be brought about by trauma. Literally having your brain section itself off and force it out. Or at least that, yeah. That seems like a good start. Ooh, so does that. Yeah, well, mental stuff is something I am quite interested in, though I do not want to be a psychologist. Or a therapist. They do not sound like fun jobs. Well, psychologist maybe if you're on the science-ish side. I know I'm saying that about psychology, where they themselves don't describe it as necessarily fact. But yeah. That's why my theory focuses less on the metaphysical idea of what if all of this stuff is real, and my theory focuses more on none of it's real in terms of reality, it's all aspects of what he thinks. I go for that way. It's all a roleplay in his mind about how much he hates himself because of stuff that was never in his control to begin with. Baby Plum. Well, you can definitely tell that, as obviously not so much because of the nightlight, but as I've played, because I do only play like once a week, I should play more. My actual playing ability has gone up since the beginning of the stream. I am much more used to it. Yeah, that makes sense. There are certain religions which see that as the way... Yeah, up, not down. The way the world works anyway. Even going as far back as to Gnosticism, where similar, but not the exact same, you have to acquire Gnosis. I think it's Gnosticism, like the G is silent. In that, once you reach Enlightenment, extremely similar to, say, like Buddhism, you move on to the next plane of existence, which in Gnosticism is not Earth. I just realized. Oh, yeah, that. Okay. I'm just commenting on what you've said, basically. For the most part. Both where I agree and disagree. I think that's the fun of theories, though. As long as a theory has a base and makes sense, it's valid. Some are more valid than others, because some have holes, some don't. Most have holes. Not just about this game, just in general. Yeah, well that fits in with the whole storytime aspect of the game anyway. Because this game is a children's tale. Yeah. Dead cat. No. Monster manual. Actually, yes. That might seem like a weird decision, but actually, yes, to Monster Manual. Bombs for... 2 bombs for 4 coins is not worth it. Yeah, I know Angel Rooms are actually a lot better than they used to be, but it was open and I wanted it. I win. And again, I win. Oh, I don't have just soul hearts. Oh, speaking of soul hearts, here's cheap soul hearts versus expensive soul hearts. Boop. Boop. Might as well buy it. Now this is the floor I'm going to get some health on then. In case you're wondering why I win, it's because I got Tech X on a wave-based game. With 5.36 damage, which is decently high. I never really liked Angry Fly. I understand it, but against standalone enemies, it's literally useless. Well, considering the helpers I got aren't exactly very good, I'm just gonna leave. Cards or speed? I'll just take health. Oh, right, no, it's for the floor, not for the room. That's a change that I still don't remember. I like the attention to detail of Orange Little Horn's fire portals for the fire bombs. That I thought I was going to get hit by. I think fears. Oh, using quotes and everything just reminds me of English classes. They were annoying. More because of the teacher than the actual material. At least for me. Does Little Horn actually work with Tech X? Hold on. Little Horn. Interaction. Oh, no, hold on. The item. Little Horn item. Synergies. Tech X. Overrides Little Horn. Oh, occasionally fires a Little Horn laser ring. Oh, in that case then. Nom. And I should really save some money. So I have only done, I think, one greed mode run, and that was to unlock Lilith. I might buy the Halo of Flies just for the defense. Kind of seems like a good idea. That shouldn't hit the reroll. It did! Aww. Maybe this, though. Maybe Tears Up. I'm fine with either. Oh, basically, where you've gone down the whole metaphysical route of... That's fine. Oh, fair enough. I'm assuming having two tech items together is how you unlock that. I don't actually remember. That's part of the reason why I'm doing this, is because a lot of the repentance stuff, because I just had already done most of the requirements for the things I already had unlocked anyway, in my other file, I just got them as soon as I bought the DLC, so I didn't actually know what unlocked them and where. Yeah. Same thing happened with Afterbirth and Afterbirth Plus. So I didn't do anything for them because they're just expansions. This is different. But no, where I disagree is basically where you've gone down the route of he's actually dead. I've gone down the route of he's not actually dead, but he desperately thinks he needs to be dead. Where he doesn't, because it's not actually his fault. He just believes it's his fault because his parents, like many kids who have fighting or bad parents, they're the common factor, so they think that they're the problem when they're not. And it's the same thing here. All of the things of he wants to be dead, and maybe even parts of the story are true in that he did die, that is the ending. The ending of the Ascent and the Beast is not necessarily the final chronological ending. It's not clear what the timings are. So, I'm open to whether or not he's actually dead or not actually dead by the end of the story, but in terms of that, in that he's with his dad and they're telling his story, it's his way of getting out what he thinks. It just happens to be that he's too much blood on the floor. Incredibly depressed and doesn't like anyone. Apart from before his mum became a horrible religious nut who thinks he should be sent to his room, among other things. I need movement speed. I was hit by Mask. I was hit by both bosses on this floor. Both through... just my own fault. That's why I'm saying... No, that's why I'm saying... I don't know why I'm pausing. True, but then this is also the final DLC. The problem with the word final is, does that mean the last chronological... Yeah. And also, a lot of them disagree with each other. or they go over what each other have said. You can completely discount the heart ones. They're all just item unlocks. That takes out quite a few of them. But no, like, saying about the chronological order, final doesn't necessarily mean a final chronologically, it just means the last one added, or the last one in the list. So it doesn't necessarily work in saying that it's the last actual one, unless it has actually been confirmed, in which case I'm not sure. But, yeah. It's very... My theory is more open, because it has to be. Because that is what the theory is. It's open. And because it's all just a story. Just like how the game is just a game. Money equals power. That seems like a really good thing to have in a run. In a game mode where money is everything. I'll take a tears up. I don't really care about tear size. I have a laser ring. I'll buy this. I'll move on. But yeah. I would argue that the map pat and your theory have several holes in them, which I won't necessarily be able to say where they are. Like the whole, that is a scientist thing, that's a stretch. He's in the age of at least TV, possibly internet as well. So there's no real way to just go specifically dad. Not... That in itself isn't so much of a problem anyway, because it could be anyone or anything. I want to die as well. Damage is useful. You know what? Oh, that wasn't worth it. But, like, in terms of me, I am the most technologically adept out of anyone in my family. Partly my dad's fault. Very early on. Well, very early on it was. But after that, it was all by myself anyway. And Isaac's at least old enough to be able to consider bigger concepts. Which implies he's at least, like, probably 12. Which means he's old enough to do his own research into many things. So, yeah. But then that's one specific section of the theory, which, in essence, doesn't necessarily have much weight in the first place, but it doesn't have to. That's what I meant with the whole, it doesn't have to be chronological, and why both may actually work quite well together. All of them work quite well together. Yeah. The mother ending is, if I remember correctly, I don't look at the endings too much in terms of the order. That's the one where she actually finds that he's dead, and then you get to the missing poster and it just blows away, because it's the most quiet and somber of the endings. But what I've noticed is the... No? No, that's the Darkroom ending, isn't it? Yeah. Which one's the mother ending? Which one is the mother ending? Hold on. Stats. Endings. 21, isn't it? Yeah, I haven't done that one. Oh, no, I haven't done the chest. Oh, right, no, this is this ending. Yes.
Isaac, what are you drawing?
Yeah, it's that ending. Never mind. Because... No, I'm thinking of... No, go in. I'm thinking of this ending, I believe. No, or is it the other one? No, that's the Greybird ending. I think it is. I think it is 20 or 21. I don't. That's the one of them's a Hush ending, or Delirium. There's many endings in this game. I don't bother keeping track of them. I don't need to. 21 was Mother. Yeah. I even just pressed on it. Yeah, you know what I mean. You know what I mean, though. I'm playing a run, I'm not analysing endings. At least not right now. But no, the further up the ending numbers you get, the more real and realistic they become, which in my opinion adds more weight to not necessarily the order they're in, though you can infer order through them. Yeah. They're not necessarily chronological. They could be, but that would imply that Isaac is dead and then he's talking to his dad, which doesn't work. But then considering that on one side of the family, he's talking with his dad about how horrible his mother is, and on the other side of the family, he's drawing pictures and she abuses him because of it, both of them have weight to be real, considering the way the game works. Yeah, well, in my theory, I never thought his dad was dead to begin with. That was more of a you and MatPat. I want to say MatPat said he was. I watched a video when it came out. Yeah, that's true. But then it... Does he? I know it was confirmed somewhere that the narrator is definitely Isaac's dad. Like, it just is. One of the few bits of confirmed lore from Edmund. Or the team. One of the two. I don't remember which. But that one is actually true. Oh. Hello, Polycephalus. I didn't know you were there. And you're inconsequential. Yeah. Is there... I don't want any of that. I could take a sale item and go for greed rather than quality, but I should not have stood there. I'm just going to focus on one. I shouldn't focus on both. I think that one's dead. I need hearts. I don't have them. Maybe I do actually buy the health item in the shop. I got hit too many times then. Yeah, no, that also makes sense. Do I bother looking for a secret room that probably won't have anything in it? No. I'm not going to buy the health up. I'd rather have other things. Well, I have all the keys I need, unless I decide to go into that chest, but the chance of that chest having something useful isn't very high. At least not overly useful. I should have. I have too many keys thinking about it. That's not very useful. That is. No. It's stuff like that which I disagree with, because as far as the evidence is concerned, there is none. Not much. Well, not much, if any. No. Yeah, well, that. I can't really say yes or no, but I'm inclined to point towards no for that reason. I'm going to gamble on a few of these. Probably only the two. Yeah. Oh well. Oop, there's a third. And now there isn't. I feel like Little Horn, I'm not going to say underrated, but one that doesn't get brought up enough. Having Bighorn just appear and grab an enemy and just erase them and any of their offspring is very nice. Wrath really isn't doing very much. That works. Not yet, there you are. Okay, die. These are the slappy ones. I believe these are snappers. No, what isn't snappers? I think that's... I don't know. I know the names mean like, what they do, but the problem with Whipper and Snapper is the long ones do both, because they whip. Yeah. Though, also, why does the voice have to be altered in the first place? Surely that doesn't necessarily come into it. I wasn't planning on buying all this stuff, I was planning on keeping money, but then it was health and I need health. Tears Up could be useful. What are you? Chariot. Well, that was a half heart wasted. Oh, I like this little horn. I've never seen him before. The new champion. Well, no, I'm pretty sure Black Champion Little Horn was a thing anyway. I have no idea how. Maybe Fast Bombs is unlocked for doing one of the greed mode waves fast? I don't know. I don't know if that's Black Champion or a new champion. Okay. 4 cages. Yep. As long as they don't jump, this actually isn't going to be too bad. So imagine doing this with normal tiers. Judash's Shadow. I could, but I don't see a reason to. Ooh, here's a good question. I know, hold on. Conjoin. Okay, actually type conjoined. I know Rotten Baby is conjoined. Is Robo Baby? Not that I can see. Oh no, yes it is. Never mind, in that case, I shall go conjoined. Boop. Plug with this. Yeah. Yeah, with the Bible. I'm gonna say that bit has to be religious something, because there is no way a book would knock someone out like that. Ooh, more health. And the ring. I don't need the ring. I'm gonna take this as my last item to buy, and then I'm gonna stop buying items. I need money. I'm gonna go in here. Yes. Yeah. That... I feel like that theory is falling down the same pit as the other one does, if it's just putting stuff together because you can, not because the evidence is necessarily there. Because the theory of why the Bible fell and knocked her out could literally just be as simple as she knocked it off the shelf and it happened to fall on her. Completely unrelated to God or anything. Yeah. Which, actually, saying about how this is a religious game anyway, it does actually point out a problem with all symbolism and all interpret it in your own way. What happens when someone who really doesn't come to good conclusions interprets it? Which isn't, just as a disclaimer, isn't necessarily a comment on terrorism or anything, because it's not. It can be as simple as what a single line means, or how interpretations have changed over the years, or been edited, or anything else. Or even as simple as saying about English lessons in school. I can guarantee you, when a writer says about some blue curtains, it has nothing to do with the character being depressed. It's just because they like the colour blue. I can guarantee that. No writer goes as in-depth as English lessons make you want to think they do. Answers, and no, it's useless. Answers. Well, I don't have bombs anyway. Yeah, well, that's my opinion on it. I don't necessarily disagree with religion. I am not religious. I'm one of the people where the more I found out, the less I believed. With man. Man, I'm assuming man the species. That I disagree with. And I disagree with it in the same way as when people say that social media is a cancer. It's not the concept itself. It's what people have done to it. Religion as a whole is actually a good thing. It brings people together under a common belief. Whether or not it's actually true, well, as far as religion cares, yes they are. But it depends which one you're talking about, which is interesting and good to analyse. But no, I don't think religion itself is the problem. I think it's more what I said. People who misinterpret things, either on purpose or not, or going down, I know I said about terrorism, but going down the other route, people who specifically cause, well, funnily enough, this game, dogma. Dogma is the belief in something with no actual fact. Which is why I like the name of that boss so much, because it is literally Isaac fighting the Christian television. It's great. Well, there is almost a human factor. Religion is a human concept. But yeah, stuff like that. They are corrupt and weird on this game's TV show. And that's what causes his mum to go bad. Not all religion is like that, in the same way as not every food is poisonous. But some are. The problem is how do you deal with it? Some people will say, take out all religion. Which, fair enough. If there's substantial truth as to why you should take out all religion, then take out all religion. Some people disagree and say you should never take out all religion. The problem with ideas is that they're ideas. Without factual backups and proof, they're both as valid as each other. Obviously that completely ignores weights and logic and other things. But that's the point. In some ways, that's what religion does. Religious people are more susceptible from stories I've seen and happen to have a higher chance of being corrupt than, say, more science-based people. But then the problem with that is that saying it as if they're mutually exclusive. They're not. Some of the original scientists were scientists because they were religious. What's the best way to get closer with your god? Understanding what they did to create the world. And how the world works, as in how God works. Which is why I find it so funny when people like to say they're at odds with each other, when they're really not. They work hand in hand. One is the why, one is the how, if both are true. I haven't actually read anything of what you just said after Human Factor. I was just speaking while fighting the boss. You can stick to definition, that religion is a bad thing, but beliefs aren't exactly bad. But I disagree with that. Because religion itself... Your opinion of God itself, no problem. Oh, no, I'm assuming no problems to me. Yeah. Delay and text, no tone. Tone is annoying. I might do another read mode run.